They say honesty is the heartbeat of love, steady, strong, reliable. But what happens when that rhythm falters? When the person you trust begins to shift, to pull away, to create shadows where there was once only light? You don't always catch it in the moment. It doesn't arrive with neon signs or shouted confessions. No, secrets are quieter than that. They slip in slowly, carried in small changes, whispered through silence, woven into details so subtle that only your heart can sense them. Maybe you've felt it, that sudden chill when their eyes won't meet yours anymore, the sting when their laughter feels rehearsed, the weight when their phone suddenly becomes more important than your presence. It's not always about cheating, betrayal, or dramatic scandals. Sometimes it's about something hidden, pain, guilt, shame, or even a double life. And the cruelest part? They expect you not to notice. But you do, because love sharpens awareness. You memorize the smallest things about someone when you care. The way their hand fits yours, the tone they use when they're tired, the way their mood softens after a long day. And when those patterns change, when the familiar feels foreign, your heart registers the imbalance long before your mind can rationalize it. That's where suspicion is born. Not from paranoia, but from disruption. From the quiet evidence that things are no longer what they used to be. And while they may dismiss you, laugh it off, or turn the blame back on you, you know better. You know that when someone hides something, the truth leaks through the cracks. This is not just a list. This is a journey through the unspoken signs, the cinematic details of what hiding looks like. The trembling hand holding a coffee cup, the sudden anger at a harmless question, the gaps in stories stitched with too many words or not enough. These signs are not random quirks. They are red threads pointing to the secret they don't want you to see. Over the next 15 chapters, we'll break them down, not with cold psychology alone, but with the raw, human reality of what it feels like to watch trust unravel. You'll see how small gestures become warnings, how silence becomes confession, how routine transforms into performance. You'll feel the shift from closeness to distance, from comfort to doubt. Because here's the truth. Secrets cannot hide forever. The body betrays them. The eyes betray them. The story betrays them. And most of all, your intuition never lies. So lean in. Listen carefully. These are the 15 signs they're hiding something from you. And once you see them, you'll never unsee them again. Sign 1. They avoid eye contact. Suddenly, there's something haunting about eyes. They're not just organs of sight. They're confessions, mirrors, windows into truths that words can never carry. When someone who once looked at you freely, openly, and without hesitation suddenly begins to avert their gaze, the silence of their eyes speaks louder than any spoken betrayal. Imagine sitting across from them at dinner, the clink of cutlery filling the silence between you. You ask about their day, and instead of their eyes meeting yours, they find comfort in the floor, the ceiling, the glowing screen of their phone. Their gaze slides away, as if locked doors have been built where there were once open windows. It's not shyness, it's a performance. And performances require hiding. People hide in many ways, through excuses, through busy schedules, through forced smiles. But the eyes are traitors. They reveal anxiety when words sound calm. They flicker toward guilt when the mouth insists on innocence. When someone avoids eye contact suddenly, it isn't always proof of deception, but it is proof of a shift, a dissonance between their inner truth and the version of themselves they want you to see. Cinematic moments often linger in the little details. The tapping of fingers on the table, the half-swallowed sigh, the way they blink too often or too rarely. All of these are the stage lights, but the main curtain is in the eyes, the refusal to let yours meet theirs. It's as though they fear being seen for what they are carrying, and you'll feel it, in your gut, in the heavy pause that hangs between you. Because deep down you already know, honesty doesn't hide in shadows. It doesn't flinch under your gaze. Only secrets do. Twist of truth. When they no longer meet your eyes, it isn't just distance. It's a silent warning that what they're carrying in their soul is too heavy for you to see. Sign 2. Their phone becomes off limits. A phone is no longer just a device. It's a diary, a vault, a confession booth. In today's world, it carries entire lives. The messages unsent, the photos unsaved, the searches made at 2 a.m. When someone suddenly guards that device like it's holding state secrets, It isn't just about privacy, it's about protection. Protection of something they don't want you to find. Picture this. Once upon a time, their phone would sit face up on the table, buzzing harmlessly with notifications they didn't care to hide. You could pick it up to check the time and they wouldn't flinch. But now, the phone is always face down, like a child hiding a forbidden toy. The screen lights up and their hand lunges faster than instinct, pulling it away as though your glance is a crime. They might excuse it. It's just work stuff. You wouldn't be interested. I value my privacy. And sure, privacy is healthy, necessary even. But sudden secrecy, that's different. It's the switch you notice. The shift from openness to guarded walls. You ask who they're texting, and instead of an easy answer, you're met with irritation, with defensiveness, with a smile that doesn't quite touch their eyes. The phone becomes a character in your relationship, sitting between you like a third presence. You feel its weight even in silence. The late-night glow of its screen becomes a rival. The way it's carried into the bathroom, tucked under pillows, clutched like treasure, all of it whispers louder than words. Cinematic detail lives in the little betrayals. The locked screen, the deleted call logs, the half-written excuses. And as you watch, you realize this isn't about the phone at all. It's about the story behind the screen, a story they're rewriting without you. Twist of truth. A phone held too tightly often signals a heart held elsewhere. And when you're locked out of that small, glowing world, you may already be locked out of theirs. Sign 3. Unusual gaps in their stories. Stories are like threads. When someone loves you, their words weave together naturally. Small details connecting, timelines flowing, everything making sense without effort. But when someone starts hiding something, those threads begin to fray. Their stories develop strange pauses, unexplained gaps, and holes that feel too wide to ignore. Imagine them telling you about their day. They begin smoothly. I left work at 5, grabbed dinner, and then silence. A pause that stretches a second too long. Their eyes flicker, their mind scrambling to stitch a believable detail into the gap. They fill it with vagueness. Oh, I just ran some errands. It's a broad stroke, too broad. Enough to cover the canvas, but not enough to create a picture. You notice the inconsistency. Yesterday they said they were with a friend. Today that same friend had other plans. They mix up timelines, confuse simple facts. The laughter in their voice sounds rehearsed. You ask for clarification, and their answers stumble out like broken puzzle pieces. Each time you press, the story shifts slightly, like sand slipping between your fingers. It's not always about catching a lie. Sometimes it's about feeling the absence of truth. People who are honest don't need to remember what they said. Their stories align because they're real. But when someone is hiding, they're juggling narratives, trying to keep the illusion standing without letting the cracks show. And cracks always show. Cinematic detail emerges in the tiny hesitations, the sip of water to buy time, the cough that interrupts a sentence, the way they suddenly redirect the topic toward you. It's not the missing detail itself that cuts deepest. It's the emotional distance it creates. Because when their stories no longer connect, you feel the disconnect, too. Twist of truth. Silence between words is as telling as the words themselves. And when their story leaves gaps, it's not just memory failing, it's truth being buried. Sign 4. They over-explain. Simple things. Honesty is usually simple. When someone has nothing to hide, their answers feel light, unforced, almost casual. But when guilt creeps in, simplicity disappears. They start over-explaining the smallest things, adding layers of detail no one asked for, weaving a story so carefully that it begins to feel rehearsed, like a script they practiced in the mirror. Imagine asking a basic question. Where were you? An honest reply is quick. At the cafe with Sarah. Straightforward, ordinary. But when someone's protecting a secret, the reply stretches, grows, twists into something larger. Oh, I went to that cafe near the park. You know, the one we tried last spring? I was with Sarah. Well, not exactly with her the whole time because she left early. But then I stayed a little longer to finish my coffee. The place was kind of busy and I ran into an old co-worker and noticed the flood of details. It's not information, it's insulation. They're padding their story with unnecessary layers, hoping you'll get lost in the weeds and stop looking for the roots. Over-explaining often comes with nervous energy. Their voice may rise slightly, words tumbling out too quickly. They might repeat themselves or emphasize their innocence too many times. Seriously, nothing happened. I swear, honestly. It's as if they're trying to convince themselves as much as you. Cinematic detail shows in the way their hands fidget, the smile that's too wide, the laugh that feels forced. You can almost see the script playing out behind their eyes. They fear silence because silence feels like suspicion, so they fill the air with words, hoping to cover the truth with noise. And here's the irony. In trying so hard to prove they're innocent, they reveal the very guilt they're hiding. Because truth never needs a novel. It only needs a sentence. Twist of truth. When the simple becomes complicated, the complication usually hides the truth. Over-explaining is not clarity, it's camouflage. Sign 5. Mood swings without clear reason. Love thrives in consistency. When someone has been steady with you, laughing at your jokes, sharing quiet moments, offering comfort, you grow used to that rhythm. But when they begin to hide something, that rhythm falters. Their moods shift suddenly without explanation. Like a storm appearing in a cloudless sky one day, they're warm, affectionate, and present, texting you good morning, smiling easily, leaning close. The next, they're cold, withdrawn, snapping at questions that don't deserve anger. You ask, "What's wrong?" And the answer is always vague. "Nothing, I'm just tired." Or worse, silence. Their mood becomes a wall you cannot climb. The truth is, secrets are heavy. Carrying them is like balancing on a tightrope, and the strain shows in their emotions. When they're feeling secure, they manage to mask it, showering you with love as if nothing is wrong. But when fear seeps in, fear of being caught, fear of their mask slipping, irritation takes over. The smallest things set them off. A casual question feels like an interrogation. A look in your eyes feels like suspicion. Cinematic detail emerges in these moments. The slammed door after a harmless joke, the trembling hand clutching a coffee cup too tightly, the sudden withdrawal of touch when you reach for their hand. You find yourself walking on eggshells, wondering which version of them you'll face today. The unpredictability is not random. It's the shadow of what they're hiding. It's not that they stopped loving you. It's that their secret consumes space love once occupied. They're fighting an internal war, and you're feeling the crossfire. Sign 6. They avoid specific questions. Questions are bridges. When trust is strong, someone will walk across them with ease, offering answers openly, without fear. But when a secret begins to grow between you, those bridges turn into traps in their mind. They start dodging questions, sidestepping the very words that could expose them. Picture it. You ask a simple, specific question. Who were you with last night? Instead of answering directly, they pivot. Why are you always so suspicious? Or why does it matter? You don't trust me? They don't give you clarity. They give you deflection. Suddenly, you're the problem, not their silence. It's subtle at first. They'll laugh off your questions, change the subject, or bury you under vagueness. Just out with some people. Nothing important. The word some hangs in the air like smoke, a blur that leaves you coughing for details that never arrive. Cinematic tension builds in the pauses. The way they look away right before answering, how their tone grows sharp when pressed, the nervous habits that surface, tapping fingers, forced yawns, sudden sighs. Their body answers before their mouth does, and that answer is, "I don't want you to know." Avoiding specific questions isn't about keeping privacy. Healthy privacy doesn't fear directness. This avoidance is about control. By refusing clarity, they control the narrative, keeping you at arm's length from the truth. And the more you push, the more defensive they become, because every answer feels like a crack in the wall they've built. It's not just the absence of detail that hurts. It's the emotional distance their avoidance creates. A question left unanswered is more than silence. It's separation. It makes you wonder what else they're capable of burying under vague words and unfinished sentences. Sign 7. Change in daily routines or habits. Love has a rhythm. You get used to the patterns, the morning texts, the coffee stops, the way they hum in the shower, or the little rituals before bed. These routines are not just habits. They're quiet promises. So when they suddenly shift, when familiar rhythms vanish overnight, it leaves you unsettled. Because change, when unexplained, often signals something more than growth. It signals concealment. Picture them as they used to be. Every evening they'd come home, toss their keys in the same spot, slip into comfortable clothes, and ask about your day. You knew their schedule without needing to check. But then, one day, they're working late more often. They skip dinners they once cherished. They pick up new hobbies that never existed before. And when you ask, they shrug it off. I just needed a change. Of course, people evolve. Habits shift naturally. But sudden, sharp changes, especially when cloaked in vagueness, are different. That extra hour at the gym, the unexpected friend they're meeting, the strange urgency to spend time alone, these are not just changes. They're cover stories. Cinematic detail lives in the absences. The untouched dinner plate, the shoes left by the door at midnight, the scent of cologne or perfume lingering when it shouldn't. Their life feels like it's moving in a direction you're not invited to follow. The warmth of routine is replaced by the chill of unpredictability. You start to realize it's not the new habits themselves that sting, it's the secrecy stitched into them. Because routine is built on trust, and when that trust is disrupted without reason, it feels like betrayal spoken in silence. Sign 8. Defensive behavior. When confronted, there's a moment you'll notice. The instant your curiosity turns into their shield. When you ask a question born from concern, instead of receiving clarity, you're met with walls, sharp words, raised tones, exaggerated sighs. It's not the confrontation that creates tension, but their defensiveness. Because the truth doesn't flinch. Only secrets do. Imagine gently asking, "Why didn't you answer my call last night?" A simple answer could ease the worry. "I was asleep," or "My phone died." But instead their response lashes out, "Do you not trust me? Why are you always accusing me of something?" Suddenly the spotlight shifts. Your question isn't the problem. You are. This defensiveness is not about the question itself. It's about the fear behind it. Every inquiry feels to them like a crack in the facade, a chance that the secret they're holding might slip into the light. So they armor up, pushing you back with anger, sarcasm, or exaggerated hurt. It's a performance of outrage designed to silence you before you get too close. Cinematic tension rises in these moments. The way they cross their arms tightly, pacing the room like they're cornered, the way their voice climbs too high for such a small question. Their face flushes, their gestures sharpen. You feel the heat of their reaction, and suddenly, you're no longer searching for answers. You're calming a storm that never should have existed. The tragedy lies in how it makes you doubt yourself. You begin to wonder if you're too nosy, too suspicious, too insecure. But deep down you know, curiosity in love is not interrogation. It's care, and defensiveness in the face of care is not protection, it's avoidance. Sign 9. Inconsistent body language. The body rarely lies. Words can be polished, rehearsed, carefully constructed to fit a story, but the body betrays truths it cannot control. When someone is hiding something, their body language often falls out of sync with their words. And once you notice, you can't unsee it. Picture this. They say, "Of course I love you," but their arms are crossed, their shoulders turned away. They insist, "I'm not hiding anything," yet their hands fidget endlessly, tapping, picking, pulling at invisible threads. Their mouth forms a smile, but their eyes stay flat, empty, unlit. The mismatch lingers like a shadow over every interaction. Inconsistency doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers. They nod too much when agreeing. Their laughter sounds forced. Their voice says yes while their body quietly says no. Or they avoid gestures altogether, going stiff as though even moving too much might reveal what they're holding inside. Cinematic detail heightens these moments. The long blink when they answer a question, the shallow breath right after a lie, the way their jaw clenches before they speak. They may lean away slightly when you move closer, or hesitate before touching you, as though the closeness feels heavier than before. These are not random glitches. They are signals of tension, conflict, and fear. It's not that they've suddenly forgotten how to move naturally. It's that the weight of their secret is splitting them in two. Their voice working overtime to maintain the story, while their body silently rebels against it. And you, standing across from them, can feel the fracture. The tragedy is not just in catching the lie. It's in realizing that connection, once so effortless, now feels choreographed. Love doesn't need a script. But hiding does. Sign 10. Spending more time. Away from you, love seeks closeness. Even in busy seasons, even with long days and endless obligations, people who care find ways to lean in. A text in the middle of work, a call before bed, a simple, "I miss you." When that closeness starts to fade, when the hours apart grow longer and the excuses multiply, it's not just distance, it's a quiet retreat. At first you may brush it off. They're just busy. They're tired. But patterns form. The late nights at the office become routine. Weekend plans are suddenly with friends you've never met, or just needing some time alone. They spend longer in places that never used to matter. The gym, the grocery store, even drives that take twice as long as they should. And when they return, there's a new detachment, as though they've left pieces of themselves somewhere else. Cinematic detail reveals itself in the absences. Their chair at the dinner table staying empty. The unanswered calls that go straight to voicemail. The way you sit on the couch with your phone in hand, waiting for the buzz that comes later and later each night. When they walk in, their smile feels practiced, their hug too quick, their presence more like a guest than a partner. It's not that people don't need space. Healthy love honors independence. But this is different. This is deliberate withdrawal, a pulling away not to recharge but to conceal, because the more time they spend away, the less they have to balance the weight of their secret under your gaze. And the cruelest part? You start to notice that the home, once filled with laughter and routine, now feels hollow. Distance doesn't just steal time, it steals intimacy. Sign 11. Sudden interest in privacy. Privacy in love is healthy. Everyone deserves space to breathe, to think, to simply be. But when privacy shifts from a gentle boundary to a locked door, it carries a different weight. A sudden obsession with keeping things private can be the echo of something unspoken, something concealed. Maybe it starts small. They change the password on their phone, just for security. They close their laptop when you walk into the room. They take calls outside, voices hushed, excuses ready. You ask a simple question and they answer with defensiveness. Why do you need to know? Don't I deserve my own space? Of course they do. But the space they're demanding feels more like a fortress. Cinematic detail lies in the little moments. The snap of a laptop shutting too fast, the way they angle their screen away from you at a cafe, the tension in their voice when you reach for something that was once shared freely. Privacy has become secrecy, and secrecy always casts a shadow. This new interest in privacy doesn't exist in isolation. It begins to bleed into everything. They take longer drives, just to clear their head. They keep journals locked away, receipts stuffed in pockets, social media suddenly wiped clean. It's not the privacy itself that alarms you. It's the suddenness, the urgency, the sharp shift from openness to guardedness. The saddest part? It plants doubt where trust once grew. You start to question yourself. Am I overreacting? Am I being controlling? But deep down, you know the truth. Healthy privacy doesn't make you feel excluded. This kind of privacy feels like exile. Sign 12. Intuition tells you. Something is off. Sometimes the loudest evidence isn't a text, a missed call, or even a contradiction in their words. It's the quiet stirring in your chest. Intuition. That subtle, unshakable feeling that something doesn't add up. Even when everything on the surface seems perfectly fine, you know them. You've memorized the rhythm of their laugh, the tilt of their smile, the cadence of their speech. You've felt their moods before they've spoken them, sensed their presence before they've entered a room. So when a shift comes, even if it's invisible to others, you feel it instantly. They say everything's fine, but your gut whispers, no, it's not. Cinematic detail emerges in the stillness. The pause between their sentences that feels heavier than usual. The way they touch you differently. The unspoken distance in a shared silence. Nothing dramatic, nothing glaring, but enough to disturb the atmosphere. It's like a song playing slightly off-key. To anyone else it might sound normal, but to you, it's wrong. What makes intuition haunting is that it doesn't arrive with proof. It leaves you in limbo, torn between trusting yourself and fearing you're imagining things. But the truth is, intuition isn't fantasy. It's recognition. Your subconscious has already picked up the micro shifts, the too quick smile, the late replies, the rehearsed tone. You've collected the evidence, even if you can't yet articulate it. The tragedy is how easy it is to doubt yourself. They may call you paranoid, sensitive, dramatic. But here's the reality. Intuition is the echo of love recognizing its imbalance, and ignoring it often hurts more than facing what it's pointing toward.